Another earthquake in the Philippines. Buildings shake, people evacuate, casualties are reported, and everyone asks the same question. Why does this keep happening? The Philippines experiences over 100 earthquakes every year. 20 or more are strong enough to cause damage. Some kill thousands, and it's never going to stop. Here's why. The Philippines sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a 25,000-mile horseshoe-shaped zone where 90% of the world's earthquakes occur. This ring circles the Pacific Ocean, passing through Japan, Indonesia, New Zealand, Chile, California, and right through the Philippines. But the Philippines isn't just on the Ring of Fire. It's trapped between multiple colliding tectonic plates. Think of the Earth's surface like a cracked eggshell. These cracks are tectonic plates, massive slabs of rock floating on the molten mantle below. Where these plates meet, they collide, slide past each other, or one dives beneath another. The Philippines sits at the junction of four major plates: the Eurasian Plate, the Philippine Sea Plate, the Pacific Plate, and the Sunda Plate. All four are pushing against each other, and the Philippines is caught in the middle. This collision creates two types of earthquake threats: offshore subduction zones and inland fault lines. Let's start with the trenches. There are 7 major trenches surrounding the Philippine archipelago. These are subduction zones, places where one tectonic plate is being forced beneath another. The Manila Trench runs along the western coast of Luzon in the South China Sea. When it ruptures, it can generate magnitude 8.0 earthquakes and tsunamis that hit western Luzon in 10 to 20 minutes. The East Luzon Trench runs along the eastern coast, facing the Pacific Ocean. It's capable of similar magnitude quakes and tsunamis hitting the eastern coast. The Philippine Trench, one of the deepest in the world at over 34,000 feet, runs along the eastern edge of the Philippine Sea. It's farther offshore, but still threatens the eastern Philippines. The Cotabato Trench sits off the southwestern coast of Mindanao. It killed 8,000 people with a tsunami in 1976, and it's capable of doing it again. The Negros Trench runs through the central Visayas between Negros and Cebu. The 2012 earthquake that killed 51 people came from this fault system. The Sulu Trench runs through the southwestern Philippines near Zamboanga and the Sulu Sea. And the Philippine Sea Plate itself, a massive tectonic boundary where multiple trenches converge. These trenches don't just threaten tsunamis. When they rupture, the entire region shakes. Magnitude 7.0, 8.0, even 9.0 earthquakes are possible. And because the Philippines is an archipelago, thousands of islands spread across hundreds of miles, there's no safe zone. Every region is vulnerable to at least one of these trenches. But the trenches aren't the only threat. Running through the middle of the Philippines is the Philippine Fault system, a 1,200-kilometer network of inland fault lines. This fault runs from Luzon through Mindanao, cutting directly through populated areas. Unlike offshore trenches that generate tsunamis, the Philippine Fault causes direct ground shaking right beneath cities and towns. The Marikina Valley Fault runs through Metro Manila. If it ruptures with a magnitude 7.0 or higher earthquake, the capital, home to 13 million people, would be devastated. Buildings would collapse. Infrastructure would fail. The death toll could reach tens of thousands. The Mindanao Fault runs through the southern island. The recent earthquake? Likely connected to this fault system. Mindanao experiences frequent quakes because it sits on multiple overlapping fault lines. So why are there so many earthquakes? Because the Philippines is geologically trapped. Tectonic plates are colliding from every direction. Subduction zones surround the islands. Fault lines run through the middle. There is no escape, and it's not going to stop. Tectonic plates move slowly, a few centimeters per year, but they never stop. Pressure builds along fault lines for decades or centuries. Then, suddenly, catastrophically, they slip. Earthquakes release that pressure. But the plates keep moving, and the cycle repeats. PHIVOLCS, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, monitors all of this. They've mapped the trenches, they've identified the fault lines, they issue warnings, but they can't predict when the next big one will hit. They can only say it's inevitable. Some faults are overdue. The Manila Trench hasn't had a major rupture in living memory, but geological evidence shows it's capable. The Cotabato Trench ruptured in 1976, 49 years ago, and it ruptures every 50 to 100 years. The Marikina Valley Fault? Estimates suggest it could produce a magnitude 7.2 earthquake. The last time it moved significantly was over 200 years ago. So, what can Filipinos do? You can't stop earthquakes, but you can prepare. Know which fault lines or trenches are near your area. If you live in Manila, the Marikina Fault and Manila Trench are your threats. If you're in Mindanao, it's the Cotabato Trench and Mindanao Fault. If you're in Visayas, it's the Negros Trench and Philippine Fault. Have an earthquake plan. Know where to take cover. Keep emergency supplies, water, food, first aid, flashlight. Have an evacuation route if you live near the coast, because some earthquakes trigger tsunamis. Retrofit your home if possible. Make sure heavy furniture is secured. Know how to turn off gas and electricity, and understand the warning signs. If you feel a strong earthquake and you're near the coast, don't wait for an official warning. If the ground shakes for more than 20 seconds near the ocean, evacuate to high ground immediately. Tsunamis can arrive in 5 to 15 minutes. The Philippines will never stop experiencing earthquakes. It's not bad luck, it's geology. The islands sit at one of the most seismically active locations on Earth. But understanding why it happens, knowing which faults threaten which regions, gives you the knowledge to survive. Another earthquake just hit. There will be more. The question isn't if, it's when. Why are there so many earthquakes in the Philippines? Because the islands are trapped between colliding tectonic plates, surrounded by subduction zones and cut through by fault lines. It's one of the most dangerous places on Earth to live, geologically speaking. But millions of Filipinos call it home. And understanding the threat is the first step to living with it. Stay safe, stay prepared, and subscribe for more videos about the geological threats beneath the Philippines. Because knowledge could save your life when the next earthquake strikes.